Fred Guttenberg joins us now. He's the founder of Orange Ribbons for JAIME, named for his daughter, Jamie, who was killed in the Parkland, Florida school shooting. Also, Nicole Hockley, founder and managing director of Sandy Hook Promise. Her son, Dylan, was killed in Newtown. And Fred, let me begin with you. You just heard Governor Patrick there. You heard what he had to say. What's your response?
I think those are the most idiotic comments I've ever heard regarding gun safety. Let me be clear. He should be removed from office for his failure to want to protect the citizens of Texas. To hear him continue to make the argument after 10 people died in his state that guns are not the issue is simply a crock. I was in Texas 2 weeks ago to be across the street from the NRA convention and to protest it. The highlight item at their convention is a gun that folds up to look like a cell phone. Okay? That is not designed for any reason other than to spread more death on the streets of this country. And regarding the Second Amendment, I am pretty confident the framers of our Constitution did not sit around predicting the day where we would have guns that look like cell phones. I'm sorry, that man, those are idiotic comments. I'm raging right now. I'm here this weekend at what was supposed to be my daughter's dance recital, where they're honoring my daughter's memory instead of having my daughter dance. And for that man to make those moronic comments, unacceptable.
Well, your rage is very clear, Nicole. Thank you for joining us. Also, this morning, I know you've been working hard ever since Newtown, ever since your son Dylan was killed, on trying to come up with solutions. And there's a lot of frustration at the national level, especially. But you say there actually has been some progress at the local level addressing these problems.
There definitely has been progress at a local level and at a national level where we're teaching how do you recognize the signs of someone who's at risk, because this is about prevention. What we heard from the Lieutenant Governor in terms of hardening of the schools, I'm not saying that that's unimportant and that we shouldn't be looking at school security and the bricks and mortars of how we protect our students, but this was a hard school already. There was a lot of safety measures in place. You had armed school resource officers, you had prepared action plans for active shooter drills. There was a lot of activity already happening, and I don't think that we're simply focusing on the wrong thing here. School control of gun safety measures, that is a mitigation. That is not prevention. We need to focus on the kids inside the schools. And while I disagree with the vast majority of what the Lieutenant Governor said, I do agree that we do have a problem where we devalue life. And the fact that this shooting has not received a significant amount of coverage, that this shooting is not seeing a significant amount of action, to me, that is devaluing life itself. There are 10 people who are dead, who are not going back to their families. That's what we need to be focusing on. And it's not about religion. It's not about values. And it's not just about guns. It's about guns and it's about people. And while I agree with him that access and safety, those things need to be held accountable. This shooter took the guns from his home, and therefore action and accountability needs to take place. We also need to think about what do we need to do to stop people before they ever reach the point of picking up a firearm with the intent of hurting themselves or someone else. And that's not about school security. That's about prevention.
Mr. Guttenberg, I saw you nodding your head to a lot of that there, and it's clear that you don't suffer from the problem of desensitization, of the problem of numbing right now. Your rage is painfully clear. What do you say to the rest of us who are getting all too used to this?
You know, George, the morning that the breaking news on this happened, I was reading the news reports of the shooting at the Trump Hotel. These shootings keep on happening, and Nicole's 100% right. This is not just about guns. It's not just about school safety. It's not just about mental health. It's everything. And the problem is when these shootings happen, the crowd that doesn't want to blame guns, they want to talk about everything else but guns. Folks like Nicole and I, we want to talk about all of it because to solve this problem, you must. You need to talk about all these things if you want to limit these incidents, you want to stop these incidents, but you also have to be realistic. These incidents are happening, and we have to limit the casualties when they do. And I'm glad Nicole brought up the home, because I've heard some in Texas and some out of Texas say, all of the gun safety measures proposed could not have stopped this. Well, you know what? Maybe we need to go further, because this happened where this kid took the guns from his dad. Responsible gun ownership should require, by law, that parents lock up their weapons so their kids can't take them. And if the weapons are removed from a home and used this way, the parent needs to be held equally accountable. We need to address everything. This isn't an either-or problem. We need to be honest. We need to deal with it all.
And there are some people proposing some even more radical measures. Nicole, I was struck by this tweet. Arnie Duncan, the former education secretary, retweeting a tweet from a man named Peter Cunningham, who said maybe it's time for America's 50 million school parents to simply pull their kids out of school until we have better gun laws. Mr. Duncan called this brilliant and tragically necessary.
Well, I think that is one option, and I can certainly understand a parent's fear for sending their child to school every day, given how often these things are happening. And for that one student that I heard after the Santa Fe shooting saying, you know, I wasn't surprised. It was almost expected that this was going to happen here. If that's the environment that our kids are now being brought up in, then we are doing something very tragically wrong. If we want to have parents pull their kids out of school until we have better solutions in place, that is an option. But what are we doing when they're walking down the street? What are we doing when they're going to the mall or to the movie theater? This isn't just about school shootings. This is about shootings everywhere. This is happening in every community every day. And there are actions that we can take. And prayers are very important. Talking about this is very important. Looking at issues around violence is important. But there are actions that we can take right now at a community level, teaching each other what to do, but also at a state and federal level in terms of ensuring that we have complementary policy to ensure that when we see someone who needs help, we are ensuring that they don't have access to firearms. And that's really what we need to act on right now.
Nicole Hockley, Fred Guttenberg, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.